Ladies and gentlemen, now in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the brand new developer diary, talking about Cavalier Difficulty and some of the changes that are going to be coming next month. Now, Cavalier Difficulty is a really weird one because it came out about 5 months ago, and when it released, it was kind of at the Thronebreaker level of difficulty, but the rewards were only really exciting if you just reached Cavalier. But for early Cavaliers, for a few months, it was like well out of reach. A lot of the nodes were kind of like not really working, a little bit broken, didn't really do too much, and also it was very restrictive. And I think in the last couple of months they made some really good improvements, but I also think that a lot of people already just can't be bothered to do it. I know, like, myself, I do initial completion because it's really fun to do, like, the first day live stream, but I just find I have no motivation to go back in and 100% it because there's no, like, really exciting reward that I can kind of build up to. I'm looking for, like, T5CC selectors. I'm looking to form over several months, like, a 6-star Nexus crystal, or just have something that's a little bit different, a little bit exciting to really get me motivated. But the rewards, I would say, are now like good and somewhat exciting, again, if you've just hit Cavalier. But if you're at the Thronebreaker level, if you've been playing for a while, done Act 6 100%, again, it's nothing that really gets you pumped up every single month. And I think for a lot of people, kind of, they do the initial completion, and they just don't bother. And I think to have like this kind of reaction to it so early on is just a massive fail on behalf of the rewards of Cavalier Difficulty. I think the event quest is such a core piece of Marvel Contest of Champions. It's the big thing that at the start of the month pulls everybody back in. You know, there's a brand new event, like new rewards, it's all reset, and it was really, really exciting for like a year and a bit of uncollected. Like, uncollected rewards were so high for 100%, and Cavalier rewards, they just don't really have a fraction of that feeling in comparison. So going back to the developer diary, to summarize, they're not going to be increasing the rewards. However, they're looking to make it quicker, easier, and more accessible, and that second part I think is really, really good. However, at the same time, again, the rewards weren't exciting 5 months ago, and I feel like it's kind of gotten to the point where, you know, just a lot of people don't really care about Cavalier Difficulty. And I might be generalizing there, so feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, but I think it just really needs something big and exciting in Cavalier Difficulty that maybe you can form over several months. Again, I don't think like 6-star Nexus Crystal fragments, like 2,500, so over like 4 months, you form a 6-star Nexus Crystal, doing 100% 4 months, is like anywhere unreasonable, at least in my personal opinion. And I think that could be something that you know, brings a great level of excitement back to the Cavalier rewards. There are like 200 champions in the game almost now, and by the end of this year, there's probably going to be like 210, 220. We got so many characters in this game that I feel like, you know, they could just be a little bit more generous in terms of giving out like 6-star Nexus crystals, or just give away to work toward one, and also T5CC selectors as well. I think for the majority of endgame players, those are the two big things. And also more tier 2 alpha at the moment is something that the endgame community has been absolutely screaming for. So yeah, it just seems like they're very unwilling to buff the rewards, but I like that they're trying to make it easier and more accessible and kind of tuning it to players that have recently got Cavalier. Because again, I think if you've just got Cavalier, the rewards like are pretty good if they can make it like much easier and much more accessible, and especially if you do have the right champions as well. Again, Dr. Octopus, Luke Cage have been doing so much work in the last few months, but even with like the new nodes, again, you're going to have one really good character from every single class, ideally at 5-star rank 4 or 6-star rank 1, in order to get like, you know, some really solid benefit from various nodes. In all fairness, there were like certain interactions where even like 3-star Luke Cage was just so damn overpowered for, what is it, the science one. But again, we've got a completely new set of nodes moving forward. So the science one, we've got Vexing Blight, and this is going to be starting in February here. So science attackers gain an indefinite fury passive, increasing attack rating by 20% every time they remove a poison effect or are immune to one, and there's a maximum of 15 stacks there. So there's also going to be a secondary node as well. Science attackers reduce the potency of the defender's poison effects by 85%. Additionally, when a science attacker dodges an attack or performs a well-timed block, all of their poison debuffs and passives are removed. And also, whenever the defender is struck or blocks an attack, there is a 20% chance to inflict the attacker with a poison debuff, dealing 100% of the defender's modified attack as direct damage over 10 seconds. But again, this poison is mitigated and can be removed by any science champion. But again, if you've got a poison immune character, this is going to be really, really good as well. But also there is a fourth node. The attacker is inflicted with a permanent passive weakness, reducing their attack rating by 50%. But this weakness is removed while the defender is suffering from a non-damaging debuff. So yeah, with the science one, I'm struggling to see how this is close to an improvement. It actually seems significantly worse, because it seems like 1 in every 5 hits on average you're going to get poison, and then you need to remove that poison. Seems easy to remove that poison, but again, it's like every 5 hits, 20% attack rating. But the current science one is so incredibly good that yeah, I just feel like this is going to be a lot slower in comparison. So I'm not terribly excited about this one, in all perfect honesty there, but we'll see how it turns out. Again, you never know exactly until it's in the game. And then also tech, we've got infectious warfare. So tech attackers gain an indefinite passive fury, increasing attack rating by 35% whenever the defender tries to gain health while heal blocked, and this has a maximum of 10 stacks, but also gaining a fury in this way only has a 1-second cooldown. But also your opponent also has nanite healing, so every 15 seconds they regenerate 10% of their max health over 8 seconds. So basically, if you have a heal block on them, or an armor break as well, that's going to count for a passive heal block, then yeah, you're going to gain like massive fury over that duration. It should be like, 8 stacks of the fury the first time this procs, so this should be really, really good. However, you can't reverse the healing, so the tech one seems as good, if not better, than we have currently, because it seems a bit more accessible. But Doc Ock is really good for cheesing the current one, but it seems like, again, any heal block, any armor break is going to work very, very well for this tech node. So the tech node doesn't seem too bad. It kind of seems like what we've got, arguably better there. The cosmic one, we got crack in the armor. So each time a cosmic attacker lands an attack, they have a 10% chance for each armor break on the defender to gain an indefinite passive fury, increasing attack rating by 35%, and this has a maximum of 10 stacks. But also every 3 seconds, the defender gains a permanent armor up buff, increasing armor rating by 20%, and when the defender is struck, reset the timer for creating an armor buff. And also Mystic Ward, enemy nullify effects have a 95% chance to fail. So you just want a really high armor break cosmic champion like Corvus Glaive. Seems like he's going to be really good for taking advantage of like the armor ups and converting them into armor breaks as well on the parry. Also Cosmic Ghost Rider going to be absolutely ridiculous for this. Medusa, I imagine, as well. So yeah, this one actually seems much better in comparison to the buffed up that we have at the moment, but it's going to make a lot of those like already god tier champions just even better there. So I'm excited for the cosmic one. I think that's going to be an improvement overall. And then we have the skill nodes. So skill attackers prevent the defender's evade abilities while the defender is suffering from disorient, incinerate, or shock effects. And also you gain an indefinite fury passive, increasing attack by 35% each time you prevent an evade in this way, and not ability accuracy reduction. So I don't think Falcon's going to work for this, or like OG Black Widow. However, as well, every single opponent is going to have a 50% chance to evade. But again, this should be pretty easy to prevent if you've got a character that is spam applying Incinerate or Shock or Disorient. I think Nick Fury as well is going to work really, really well. Like Black Widow Deadly Origin should be fantastic as well. Like maybe Massacre with the Incinerate and Night Thrasher as well. But yeah, this one seems like a little bit interesting. I think the one we have currently for skill characters at least seems like a lot better in comparison, I would say. And also, like, again, everything's going to have 50% evade. So if you don't have the right skill character, so you've got like Blade up there or Gwenpool, then this might be a little bit more annoying in comparison. So yeah, not too sure on the skill one. I think it's going to be perfectly manageable if you do have a a broader skill roster, but I'm curious to see who works really, really well for it. So then we got the Mutant ones. So basically, each hit in the special attack of an attacking Mutant champion has a 30% chance to grant them a passive regeneration. Very small regeneration there. However, this is increased to 70% if the attacker has a prowess buff or passive. So here, you want somebody ideally with a prowess buff, or somebody that triggers regeneration buffs, like Apocalypse, Storm Pyramid X, Magneto should be really good as well, but also Wolverine and X-23. And also every time you gain a regeneration buff or passive, you gain an indefinite fury, increasing attack rating by 35%. So again, if you have a prowess buff and lots of hits on your special attack, or your Wolverine or X-23 gaining lots of regeneration buffs, again, you're going to get lots of stacks of fury there. So those characters are going to be pretty damn nuts for this one. But also, if you don't have a regeneration on your attacking character, the defender's going to heal like crazy. But, you know, most characters, as long as you bring in the right mutant, are going to have close to 100% uptime on the base regeneration there, so should be really, really good. So at least if I'm understanding the Mutant one correctly, this one should be a little bit better in comparison to what we have now. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. That looks good. It seems like there's going to be lots of counters to this as well. And then for the Mystic one, the Mystic is probably like the weakest node at the moment, so I'm really hoping this one is good. So whenever a Mystic attacker fills a bar of power, they gain a passive prowess, increasing special attack damage by 80% for 15 seconds, and nullifying a buff from the defender converts all temporary prowess passives into indefinite ones, and this has a maximum of 5 stacks. So you can gain up to, what is it, 400% special attack damage, but also defenders under the effect of Unstoppable become stun immune. This includes unstoppable effects triggered outside of this node. Every 15 seconds, the defender gains an unstoppable buff for 5 seconds, and the duration of this buff is reduced by 0.5 seconds for each prowess buff or passive the attacker has. But this is just an unstoppable buff, right, and not a passive. So as long as you got stagger or nullify, this should be good. Again, I still think the Mystic one looks a little bit weaker in comparison to the other ones. If this was like just like what is it, base attack and fury instead of special attack damage, it might be a little bit better. But Mojo's gonna like eat this node alive, which is pretty nice as well. But again, the Mystic one, we'll see how this one turns out. It doesn't seem like amazing on paper, but it could be good for certain characters. So throughout the year, they're going to be releasing 3 full sets of support buffs and challenge buffs, and with the new buffs, they hope to introduce new characters into the viable pool of champions that summoners can use to tackle the ongoing challenge of Cavalier Difficulty. They're also going to continue to tweak and modify existing and new Cavalier buffs throughout the year until they meet their goals and intended player experience. Hopefully, you're all as excited about new challenges and fun in Cavalier Difficulty as we are. We'd love to see all of the feedback regarding this new difficulty and how it plays, both positive and negative. We will look at it and we will continue to do so until we feel Cavalier is in a great spot in terms of fun and difficulty. Thanks for your time, sick beast of a gamer, Kabam John. So overall, again, I think the most lacking thing about Cavalier Difficulty is the lack of like really exciting rewards for endgame players. There's nothing really that kind of guarantees a level of increased excitement or value that players can work toward in Cavalier, and I still think that's the biggest hindrance with the difficulty. Like, Uncollected, when it dropped, had such an amazing feeling around there, because, you know, 6-star champions weren't released yet, they were like brand new, exciting, like coming around the corner, and now they've been out for years and years, and there's not like that big level of excitement and big pull toward Cavalier Difficulty like there was when Uncollected dropped. And I think Event Quest is such a core part of Marvel Contest of Champions, or at least have been previously, that I'd really like to see that level of excitement return to them. So yeah, I like some of the buffs and changes. The science one seems like, you know, a lot worse in comparison to the current one, I must say, at least on paper, but maybe I'm like misunderstanding some of the interactions that are going on with it. But yeah, like some of the other ones do look a little bit better. The skill one looks a little bit annoying, but I'm excited for the Mutant, Cosmic, and Tech ones. Those all seem like pretty nice in comparison to what we have currently. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on the changes coming to Cavalier Difficulty, and if you did enjoy today's breakdown, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.